Hello, welcome to our channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you. Welcome to the Silver Eagle News Network. People questioned my patriotism. I was in the military until I couldn't be in the military anymore. I'm a man of many hands. So when I got out of the military, I was pretty wiped out. And I had to do something. I spent 4 years floating, and then I said, that's it. And then I got involved in politics and then into the news. But I had to meet all the major players first. Then I could form an opinion. And in 2007, the major players, the head of the Nuclear Energy Institute, all of the government, they were pretty pro-American. The auto dealers were pretty anti-American. Ford, Chrysler, Chevrolet, GM. But most of the government agencies were pretty pro-American. Now, they're not. So we've got the dollar dying in 90 days. 90 days. Exactly. This is not an April Fool's joke. It's the 1st of April. This is brought to you by Takedown. What's my relationship with the company? Well, let me tell you, they send me a sample once a month, but we buy more than we could ever imagine. They put money in our nonprofit. So, and you got to get on your cell phone. You got to go to the more. Google changed it to destroy YouTubers. You got to go to the more, and then you'll have the link to the advertisements. And we talk about the really weird, strange things that put the pieces together on WilliamMount.tv. I think it's $3 a month, whatever the minimum is for Roku TV. Sorry they've thrown so many of you off. I apologize. Yeah, and if you miss a video, it's on the website. And then we have all the ads on the right-hand side of the sponsors, the things we sponsor, and ImmuSys will be brought back up as soon as it's available to you.
We'll let you know.
We'll let you know. And past performance is not indicative of future performance, but I think it's doing pretty good after 5 years. Anyway, on to inflation. The dollar goes away in exactly 90 days. And we go to a complete central bank. Go ahead, Jane.
Oh, no, I was just going to put my 2 cents in. And I think we're going to have a graduated reduction of the dollar. It's not going to be like all at once. Like You're going to introduce the Fed now, and there's going to be dollars. There will be cash, but they'll try to put more restrictions on it. And then it'll mission creep to the full-blown thing.
I don't know. They said in April the Fed Now account is, as of now, your banks are banking only on the Fed Now accounts. Your ATMs, and you've already seen my Fed Now account card, our ATMs now are tied completely into the Fed Now across the country. So from Hungary to Japan, we've now got Fed Now accounts. Japan, the United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. Australia's already eliminated. They're eliminating the cash. They're closing all the ATMs. So we went to the bank yesterday. And I asked, this is one of the largest banks in the world. And I asked him, when do the ATMs go away? And the floor manager, and I laughed, and the floor manager looked up. And the fear in her eyes, she got up and left. And they all said, oh, they'll never get rid of cash. But first, in a minute, they have to destroy the dollar first, and this is how you're destroying it. If you showed me this ad for Metropolitan Market 40 years ago, I'd have said you're crazy. Ham. When I was a kid, ham was 30 cents a pound. Now it's $6 a pound, and that's the cheap genetically modified pigs. It's gone up 20 times. Gallo wine has gone up 20 times. Pork ribs have gone from 60 cents to $17 a pound. That's bacon, I'm sorry. So bacon has gone up, oh God, I don't even want to know what 60 into 17 is. Leg of lamb has gone from, they used to sell lamb for 50 cents. Now it's $16 a pound, normally on sale for $18 a pound. And cod used to be, you buy it for a nickel. For a fish down at the fishermen, you give them a nickel or a dime or 15 cents. We used to do it in San Francisco. Now it's $26 a pound. Can you believe that? Don't even talk about salmon. Because of the Bakke decision, the price. This is what they have to do to destroy the dollar. And we'll talk about this in a minute. We used to get these for a penny a piece. A penny a piece. Only they were a different name. Now they're 20 cents a piece. 20 cents. When we needed a sugar high, we'd go down to the local store and we'd pay a penny for these. And they were lozenges. We find a penny on the ground and we go buy one of these, and we were just happy for 10 minutes as a 5-year-old. And then milk, real organic milk it's $20 for a real organic milk. We used to get them delivered to our house with the cream on top. Now it's $20 a gallon for the non-genetically modified milk. All the milk you buy, the cows are genetically modified to produce 4 gallons a day. Cows used to produce 1 gallon a day and the milk was good. Now it's this watered down yucky stuff with a bunch of chemicals in it that's been irradiated and put through some kind of boiling process. And oh my God, it ain't what we used to get. So to get the real stuff, it's $20 a gallon. Candy has skyrocketed in price. Everything now.
So they're not even, the chocolate now isn't real.
No, it's made out of, it can be up to 25% cockroaches, and it's not real. It's genetically modified, God knows what. And so prices are now $120 for 3/4 of a bag. They're 30 times higher than they were when I was a kid. 30 times. And they're going to ramp up this hyperinflation this month. So what happens in April, Jane? April is the hyperinflation month.
What's happening?
Hyperinflation. Massive hyperinflation.
Okay, I believe that.
That's what's happening now. They've flooded California out, the largest producer of food in the world. They've flooded that out. So we're going to see hyperinflation as supply chains begin to break. Now remember, when we go digital, computers never lie, they never hack, they never break. Your account is safe. Remember, I'm from the government. I'm here to help. Really? The government now is fully satanic. They don't have those old directors that are pro-American. They don't have the directors that used to be in the Vietnam War. Or maybe they were in the military for 4 years. Now we have a bunch of people like Bond who are satanic priests. He's the colonel who's making all the trouble around the big T, Jane.
Yeah.
When the big T gets in office, he needs somebody who the Satanists will run from.
You know that he's raised, since this thing that was announced, he's raised $4 million
Well,
for his defense from people.
That district attorney and the mayor of New York have signed their own warrant.
Well, I think they have. I mean,
they're arresting a diplomat.
Well, I mean, there's so many attorneys coming out saying it's a bogus and it's flimsy and it's, I mean.
Well, CNN reported on it, and then they said, no, it's a total lie. The indictment doesn't exist. This is CNN.
It exists.
Well, nobody can find it. They say they're indicting him for 30 charges. Nobody can find it. Nobody can find the indictment. It's not been registered in the courts. This is beyond insanity.
Where did you get that?
Go to the court system. Type in indictment. Type in the names. It doesn't exist. He's pulling this out of his butt. He's going after a diplomat. There is a power so powerful on this planet, and certain things they maintain. And one of the things they have maintained is that if you mess with a diplomat, you go away. You leave this planet. Feet first. He signed his own warrant for his own. So there are so many people in the CIA and FBI who are going to go away because they've so suppressed me. And there is a power so strong that they have to do this or they lose control. So the CIA and FBI are being hunted down right now because they came against a diplomat. This notice, legal tender for all debts, both public and private. Jane, in April, the feds are eliminating the use of the dollar to pay debts. You can't pay debts with dollars anymore. They're violating U.S. law. The private corporation of the National Park Service, the private corporation of the U.S. Forest Service, the private corporation of the National Monument Corporation, the private corporation of dozens of private corporations are, like the IRS, are no longer accepting cash as payment. I think the IRS will for another week or two. They're no longer accepting cash. These private corporations, which are not registered as foreign businesses, such as the FBI or the Department of Justice, which are owned primarily by the European royalties. These private corporations, not registered and not licensed to operate anywhere in America, have become tyrants because they're operating everywhere without a business license, illegally. And you can't pay anything with this anymore. Now, April, we're going to see the dollar start to die, and we're going to see hyperinflation. You know, the Weimar Republic, Jane, Germany, right before Hitler took over?
Yes.
In the Weimar Republic, the inflation, massive inflation, only lasted April, May, and June, 3 months. So what do you think is going to happen to here?
Boy, I don't know.
Hyperinflation over the next 3 months. When you pay a penny for something that's now 20 cents, and then you're watching the prices go through the roof on the essential items, chicken, ham, beef. What was that steak, $21 a pound?
Yes.
Yeah, you know, when we were kids, it was $1 a pound for steak. So it's gone up 22 times. And you watch it go up. Except nobody's buying steak, so they might lower the price of steak. Nobody can afford steak. Because in the last 60 years, our wages have gone like this. And the prices have gone like this. So what we're seeing is hyperinflation, and people can no longer afford to live. When I was a kid, $12,000 a year was top of the line salary, cannery managers. $12,000. Now it's in the millions. Prices are going through the roof. April, May, and June. We got food companies we sponsor. We got medicine companies. Well, it's not medicine. It's magical herbs. Magical herbs. So what happens in April? Hyperinflation. What do you think's going to happen in May, Jane?
I don't know. Things are going to be hot and heavy now.
And the computers are crashing. Have you noticed? Computers never make mistakes, but the downloading time used to be 5 minutes for a 20-minute video on YouTube. BitChute, although BitChute, Rumble, Brighteon are fairly new.
I think that this Ukraine thing is fizzling out.
Well, every time they bring a new tank into the country, they blow it up with a missile. Little missile. We bring in a $10 million tank. They got a $2,000 remote control biplane. And here's the tank. Boom! So they spend $2,000 to blow up a tank we spent $10 million on. Unbelievable. They brought all their biplanes back to life. They got these little drones, you buy it at $100 at the grocery store or whatever. You buy them at the toy store, you get them online. And they put something in it, and then it kind of flies along. Tank destroyed for like $200 in some cases, or an artillery piece blown to bits. C4 was developed 50, 60 years ago. You don't think they have more powerful explosives than C4? Get a clue. And then we bring in our 40 tanks, we're gonna boom. So the West has spent almost $1 trillion in the Ukraine. But one of the Russians said why. He ran into a baby factory.
I don't want to talk about that.
No. The Ukraine has been just slaughtering babies for adrenochrome is the best way to put it. Child trafficking. But we're not allowed to talk about that. So we're not. So in April, we're going to see hyperinflation. We're going to see the computer get slower and slower and slower. Google made YouTube unavailable to the general public. So we got to go to google.ru. Don't go to google.com. Go to google.ru, and that's how you get into YouTube. UGETUBE. You can no longer get into it through google.com.
Wonder why?
Because the pigs in Google banned it. So you got to go to google.ru and bypass all the google.com. But they're laying people off in Google left and right. But they are leaving the censors there. So April will see hyperinflation. May will see hyperinflation with a lot of computer errors appearing everywhere. So go to google.com. These are appearing because they're planned to appear. Nothing in politics happens that's not pre-planned.
It's taken them years to just do one little thing that looks like it's just happened, but it was all orchestrated in and planned in advance.
That's all road to Ruta, man. And then in June, you'll see massive hyperinflation as business after business after business abandons the dollar. And then we may go to digital 1 June. That gal at the bank we went to, her eyes, you could see the fear. I said, when do we go to ATM free like Australia? And I laughed, and she looked up just like this. She stared at me. Fear and anger, I could feel it in her. The problem with doing a video like this is I'm down for the rest of the day because I can feel your response. This is not a joke. The dollar goes away. That's why we talk about all the things we talk about. That's why we sponsor the people we sponsor. Because these are the things you need when the dollar goes away. And there may be a year time when you cannot get food. And electricity will be sparse. And water will be sparse. And they've so poisoned us with fluoride that you may not know what's going on. You may not be able to comprehend it. They've so poisoned us with this since a child. I've had over 100 in the Army. That your mind may be fried. So June will be that everything starts to fall apart. Everything. This is what they planned. Jane, you have a comment about this. Come on and step up to the plate.
Well,
do you think they're going to get away with the destruction of the American economy? The destruction of the bank within 58 days? By the end of May, the banks will be in total turmoil.
I think that this has been a long time coming.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're going to have to get rid of the dollar. Maybe the dollar will be in a different form. But
they might produce an American dollar?
Something like that. I don't know what it's going to be backed with because we have nothing left. We've sold it or attached it.
And the Chinese troops are in Oregon, California, Washington. We're about to give them to China.
So, I mean, there's nothing left in the piggy bank. So I don't see how this is going to end well, and I think people are going to be absolutely shocked. As far as having maybe a jubilee, I don't think so. My gut tells me there's no such thing as a jubilee.
Debt jubilee. The debt just transfers from one place to the other.
Well, Benjamin Fulford talks about a jubilee. Well, I think that's pie in the sky.
Well, he's trying for it, okay?
Well,
he's trying. He's doing the best job he can.
Yeah, but that is not going to happen. A jubilee, all your debts are paid. Well, okay, but then that might be the good side. What's the bad side? You have nothing left.
Your house is owned by the banks. Your house is owned by somebody else. That's the bad side. When they cancel the debt, they'll steal your home.
Well, that people are assuming that they're going to have possession of their house.
That's what they're assuming.
That's what they're assuming. And, there will be no money. And so how are people, and there will be no transportation, there will be no nothing.
Buses will shut down, welfare will shut down.
This is the possibility. So how a society will go back to the Middle Ages type of thing. I don't know about that.
We'll be pulling the back of a pickup truck with a horse as a cart.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm surprised that the American public has not woken up more to the fact that we are in deep doo-doo. And if they don't do so, and then there you get these people that say, I want there to be a change. Now there has to be a change, but I recommend you don't have violence. Well, okay, then that means nothing will happen. But I'm not advocating violence, but you see, the choices are slim to none.
When the dollar goes away, they'll go all digital, and the system will crash.
Well, I don't think
over again.
I don't think that the digital currency, they might put it into effect, but I don't think it'll take hold. I don't think the American people will stand for it. If they do, I'll be really surprised, because that means that there is no more control. And I don't know. Maybe this whole thing hasn't hit people yet.
I don't think it's hit people. I think that it's like the KGB, the interview we had on WilliamMount.tv. He said the only thing that will wake America up is a military boot in the butt. And they've already Biden has already signed over California, Oregon, and Washington to China. That's why there's 50,000 troops from China in California and 50,000 troops in Washington. They're busing them in mass quantities now.
Yeah, but we haven't seen them on the streets, and that's what I'm saying.
No, they're in training camps.
Well, but
Millie's a traitor.
We haven't. Of course he is. We haven't seen them. We haven't seen that.
No,
there's still food on the shelves, and we're still getting our paychecks, and so things are kind of crippling along, but there hasn't been a total stopgap.
People still send their kids to satanic schools. They come home and watch an 80-inch TV. Okay, the dollar will be dead in 90 days. That's the plan from the Federal Reserve.
We'll see.
The question is, what do you do about it?
We'll see.
And we're going to be talking about this all next week. What do you do when this dies? What do you do, we'll see, when this just goes out the window?
Are you handing that to me?
Sure.
Oh, good.
In 90 days, it's gone.
I'm going to spend it because why not?
We'll talk about what they're going to do with the central bank digital currency. You're right, it hasn't hit anybody yet.
I don't think it has.
3% of the public
People are going up and down the street. We're still having fairs. We're still having, things are limping along kind of normally. They are.
Yeah.
Now also the masks are off in Washington State today in the medical industry.
Oh, I thought it was as of the 3rd.
Well, I thought it was I don't know. Is this April Fool's?
Yeah. So by Monday, they don't have to wear the masks.
Yeah.
In the medical community. Maybe. Unless the libtard Chinese sellout governor, when Locke came in, he was a traitor. Everybody knew Locke was a traitor. And then we got another, Christine Gregoire, who was a perverted freak.
Horrible.
I mean, you talk to the people in the singles club, she was one weird pervert. And then we've now got another one who's been changed 2 or 3 times. California's had 2 or 3 different governors. The old mob slick back hair, they still got that, but the face has changed. They got so many doubles coming in, and they're planning to give the West Coast to China because they've been funding us. So all hail your masters. China's not an aggressive nation. Like heck, it's the most aggressive nation on earth.
Yeah, but they bought it.
They bought
They bought
us. Anyway, if they do that, their entire society will collapse. So says the I am that I am, who was and is to come. And they'll break up into the Han and the Yin and the Yang, just like they've been doing for almost 4,000 years. God bless. Thank you very much. We appreciate each and every one of you. And we will see you bright and early tomorrow morning for another exciting video on where to get food. Because it's going to be the #1 tradable item in about 3 months. And then silver and medicine.
It's funny. Gold is down today, but silver's up.
Oh, they're so controlling it.
I know, but usually they either both go down or they both go up. But now we got gold going down and silver going up.
Remember Pastor Lindsey Williams? He said that he was with one of his elites and they said, give us a stock. He gave him the stock. He said, give us a price. He gave him the price. And within 10 minutes, that was the price of the stock and it held steady all day. It's all controlled out of London. God bless. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow.